Volkswagen's Caddy van has always rewarded buyers looking for the largest breed of compact van, with a quality feel and a depth of design engineering often missing from obvious rivals. With a more efficient Euro 6 engine range, this 4th generation version adds a very frugal set of running cost returns to the mix, along with sharper looks, extra technology and class-leading safety. As a result, if you're looking for something Citroen Berlingo, Renault Kangoo or Ford Transit Connect sized, it's a difficult option to ignore.
Here's a van that's come a long way. Volkswagen's smallest LCV, the Caddy, has always provided a quality option for buyers seeking compact load-carrying business transport. These days, though, rivals are claiming that too. Hence the need for this 4th generation Caddy model, a design that aims to set benchmarks in efficiency, safety, convenience, comfort and technology. And yes, in quality too. In almost every way, we're told it's a van that can. Or perhaps it's a van that always could. For van customers, the Caddy name dates back to 1995, although back then, all this LCV really offered business buyers was a chance to own a Volkswagen Polo Super Mini with a metallic shed bolted on the back. In 2003, though, Volkswagen got serious, creating a smart, all-new model based on underpinnings borrowed from its Golf and Touran passenger cars. The design was assembled in a purpose-built Polish factory and proved to be a huge success, the range quickly expanding to include an extended maxi-sized version, as well as people-carrying Caddy Life MPV variants. As a result, over 1.5 million examples of this model now fill global business parks from Melbourne to Munich. By 2015, though, it was clear that another step forward was needed, for by now every rival in the compact van sector had substantially upped its game. Newer designs like Ford's Transit Connect and the Mercedes Citan, along with uprated versions of competitors like Peugeot's Partner, Citroen's Berlingo, Renault's Kangoo and Fiat's Cargo were all threatening Volkswagen's market share. Many of these are now offering business buyers passenger car style engine, infotainment and safety technology. Volkswagen had to respond. At first glance, their reaction to the way the LCV market has challenged this vehicle might seem to be a little half-hearted. Look a little closer though, and you begin to realise just how fundamental the changes to this 4th generation model really are. If you're a van buyer, did you ever really imagine that one day you'd be able to buy a compact LCV that could return over 65 miles per gallon, potentially park itself almost unaided, and even brake itself to avoid an accident? All this from a vehicle still able to lug up to 735 kilograms and fitting up to 4.2 cubic metres of carriage capacity. A vehicle that could be specified to virtually drive itself on the motorway and create for you a mobile office Wi-Fi hotspot when stationary. In short, we seem to be talking of a new era in van technology. Is that what's on offer here? Time to put this Caddy to the test. Settle yourself behind the smarter 3-spoke height and reach adjustable wheel, and if you're familiar with Caddy models, you'll find things much as before. Vans need to accommodate a much wider range of regular drivers, so it's important that all the cab controls are intuitive and instantly easy to use, as is the case here. Twist the key, and there's the usual diesel rumble at startup, but once operating temperatures are achieved, this Volkswagen goes about its business in a reasonably hushed manner. Get on the move and you notice that the driving position is nice and high, the dash-mounted gear shifter has a nice positive feel, and the braking performance inspires confidence. Dynamically, the main change with this 4th generation Caddy model lies beneath the bonnet. Here, a range of Euro 6 compatible 2-litre TDI diesel engines replace the previous 1.6-litre units and are offered in 3 states of tune. We wouldn't really recommend the entry-level 75 PS unit. It's very slow, 62 miles an hour from rest, takes nearly 16.5 seconds. Plus, this engine offers no real advantage in efficiency and can't be had with the larger maxi body style that many buyers will want. It's much better to get the 2-litre TDI power plant in the 102 PS guys that we're trying here, as the majority of buyers will. Here, pulling power rises by 25 newton meters to 250 newton meters, enabling this van to tow a brake trailer grossing at 1,300 kilograms. That's 100 kilograms heavier than a rival Ford Transit Connect can manage. 62 miles an hour from rest takes a much more credible 12 seconds en route to 107 miles an hour. Now, it's difficult to imagine why a van owner would really need a more potent engine than this, but if that is the case, then Volkswagen also offers this engine in 150 PS form with a hefty 340 newton meters of torque. Here, 62 miles an hour takes 9.2 seconds en route to 119 miles an hour. For the minority of business operators likely to want petrol power, Volkswagen also offers this Caddy with a range of TSI petrol engines. There's an entry-level 84 PS 1.2 litre unit that makes 62 miles an hour in 13.6 seconds en route to 98 miles an hour, and a 102 PS 1 litre variant that improves those figures to 11.3 seconds and 107 miles an hour. At the top of the range is a 125 PS 1.4 litre power plant that manages 10.8 seconds and 115 miles an hour. For me, though, as a van user, a more important priority than power would be ease of use, particularly when it comes to my left foot. Statistics suggest that 19 minutes of every hour spent driving through a busy city are spent with the clutch depressed, the pedal itself being pushed no fewer than 222 times in the average hour, accompanying over 150 gear changes. All of which builds a strong case for the 6-speed DSG twin-clutch automatic gearbox option that Caddy buyers will be offered, providing that they avoid the feeblest diesel unit. Through the bends, this Volkswagen doesn't feel quite as light on its feet as, say, a rival Ford Transit Connect, but you have to say that it's a more complete proposition in terms of its all-round driving experience. You get direct steering, a well-weighted gear change and well-judged pedal weights. The suspension doesn't cope that well with potholes and speed humps when the vehicle's unladen, but at speed it deals with rough surfaces very well. And that creates a stable demeanour on faster roads, offering a feeling of real confidence at the wheel, even if you don't opt for something from Volkswagen's impressive array of electronic safety aids. Everything from radar, cruise control to a braking system that'll automatically activate to try and avoid a collision if you don't respond to the warnings. In town, the speed-related assistance on the steering makes the vehicle easy to manoeuvre, and there's a decently tight 11.1 metre turning circle wall-to-wall. If at first glance you're tempted to dismiss the styling changes made to this fourth generation Caddy as being mere detail alterations, then Volkswagen's keen to put you right. True, not much about the overall look, feel or size of this vehicle has fundamentally changed, but if you examine this LCV a little closer, you begin to appreciate the sheer depth of thought that's gone into improving it. Here we're looking at the conventional van version of this design, but as before, there are also Caddy Combi, Caddy Window Van and Caddy Life variants that can offer varying degrees of people carrying capability should you want that. All share the more defined look you get here at the front end with its greater visual separation of surfaces. The headlamps, the radiator grille and the bumper have been redesigned to form a distinctive horizontal band across the front of the vehicle, while the rising V shape that stretches from the grille edges to the base of the window aims to give the front end of the Caddy a more striking appearance. In profile, you notice this more distinctive accent line that provides a visual link between the nose and the passenger area. There are also sleeker side indicators and redesigned body mouldings to protect the flanks from damage. Plus, as before, the exterior sides of the panel van load cube feature a smooth, unbroken surface that provides an ideal canvas for sign writing and decals. At the rear, the most notable change can be found with these more angular multi-chamber light clusters. As before, if you don't want these conventional wing doors, then you can specify a tailgate complete with a neatly integrated roof spoiler. And this time around, it can be supplied in unglazed form. Time to take a seat behind the wheel. Now here the redesigned dashboard looks pretty similar to the previous one, but closer inspection reveals higher quality materials, Strong build quality from the Polish factory, rectangular rather than circular air vents, and most importantly, provision for a 5-inch infotainment touchscreen just below the ventilation controls in the centre of the dash. In this case, upgraded to the larger 6.5-inch composition media display. Well, whatever your choice of screen, you get features like Bluetooth and a DAB radio as standard across the range. Plus the chance to create what, in effect, will be all the ingredients for mobile office technology. As standard, you get an aux-in socket, an SD card slot and a CD player, and we could also have specified in-cab Wi-Fi. As you'd expect, there's also the option to add in a full navigation system, which can include SD card maps and the brand's useful guide and inform setup there to brief you on almost every aspect of your journey. With this larger composition media display, you get the option of Volkswagen's App Connect system, via which you can integrate with the latest Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and MirrorLink systems that will enable you to duplicate the functionality of your smartphone handset onto the infotainment screen and access selected apps. Enough on infotainment. What about the day-to-day practicalities of living with this Caddy? Well, ahead of you, the 3-spoke steering wheel has also been redesigned and, as before, adjusts for both reach and rake, which, in concert with the height-adjustable seat, makes it easy to find a comfortable driving position. And that's aided by the way that the contours in the standard bulkhead give you a decent amount of rearward seat travel. Cabin storage remains a key Caddy strength, with numerous bins, cubbies and lockable compartments integrated as standard. 4 cup holders are provided. You get door panels that can hold bottles of up to 1.5 litres in size, and provided you avoid entry-level trim, you also get storage compartments beneath the front seats. There's also a long shelf above the windscreen, although the presence of only a small lip along its leading edge would lead me to worry about the contents being deposited on my head during sudden inclines or under hard acceleration. Paperwork and clothing won't be too much of a problem, but just for safety's sake, let's keep hammers, tins of paint and drinks flasks in the door pockets. Most Caddy models sell in the £14,500 to £21,000 bracket, excluding the dreaded VAT. The range is based around a Euro 6 2-litre TDI diesel engine offered in 75, 102 or 150 PS states of tune, but only the 2 pokier units will be available to you if you choose to find the premium of around £1,400 that Volkswagen will require if you choose to progress from this standard body style to the long wheelbase maxi version. With those 2 higher output engines, there's the option of a 6-speed DSG automatic gearbox for a premium of around about £1,400. Petrol buyers get a range of TSI engines borrowed from the Polo Super Mini. There's a base 84 PS 1.2 litre unit that only comes with the standard body shape, but both body styles are served by 2 pokier green pump engines, a 102 PS 1 litre option and a 1.4 litre 125 PS variant. Petrol pricing sits in the £15,000 to £20,000 bracket. As before, there's a wide range of options if you want your Caddy to offer passenger carrying capability along with package delivery. Combi variant combines at least 1.6 cubic metres of carriage capacity with space for 5 people, thanks to seating for 3 passengers behind the driver. And if you fold this model's rear seat, and the carriage space increases to 4.1 cubic metres. That derivative is based on the lengthier Caddy Maxi wheelbase, as is the Caddy window van, which is effectively a small minibus. Both these variants can be specified with an additional 3rd row of seats, in which guys up to 7 people could be accommodated. Volkswagen has also created this Caddy as a proper MPV to rival cars like Citroen's Berlingo Multispace, Peugeot's partner Tipi, Ford's Tornado Connect and Fiat's Doblo. The Caddy Life, or the Caddy Maxi Life models, gets more car-like interior trim than their LCV counterparts, and again, there's the option of a 3rd row of seats if you want them. Onto the value proposition on offer here. Now, Volkswagen has chosen to price this 4th generation Caddy model at the premium end of the compact van segment. And that means that you'll be spending much the same kind of money as you would be for a rival Mercedes Citan. Given that the Merc is effectively a rebadged Renault Kangoo, you can see why this VW would have more appeal to a typical buyer. That Kangoo model is an example of a more mainstream competitor in this segment, and others of the same kind also include Ford's Transit Connect, Peugeot's Partner, Citroen's Berlingo, Vauxhall's Combo and Fiat's Doblo Cargo. All these LCVs will be cheaper. I mean, you're talking anywhere between £800 and £1,500 less, depending on the model and derivative, but all will depreciate faster too. In other words, if your business can stomach this Caddy's upfront cost, it'll get much of that premium back at resale time, and you'll be able to enjoy a higher quality product in the meantime. If that argument makes sense to you and you decide that this is what you want, well, then you're going to need to know just how generous the Wolfsburg brand has been when it comes to the standard equipment. Well, let's see. Even entry-level start line trim gets you the colour composition 5-inch touchscreen DAB radio system with its aux-in and SD card slots and Bluetooth phone connectivity. More predictable inclusive features include a height-adjustable driver's seat, a full-height bulkhead and a 12-volt socket. You also get a heat-insulating windscreen, a sliding side door, daytime running lights, electric windows, powered heated mirrors and, thank goodness, a proper full-size spare wheel. Find a premium of around £1,200 to upgrade yourself into the kind of trendline trim model that we're trying here, and you get a sleeker look courtesy of smart wheel covers and body-coloured exterior trim, plus rear parking sensors, cruise control, a multifunction display, an 8-way adjustable driver's seat and extra under-seat storage areas. Stretching to trendline trim won't, though, be enough to get you air conditioning. For that, you have to upgrade further to a top Highline model. At this level in the range, you also get alloy wheels, a Thatcham alarm, front fog lamps, separate daytime running lights, auto headlamps and wipers, and a heated windscreen. Plus leather for the steering wheel and gear knob, and an auto-dimming rearview mirror. As for options, well, owner-drivers may find it hard to resist the array of infotainment technology that Volkswagen now provides. We would want to go for the composition media system that we've been trying here, a setup that gives you a larger 6.5-inch screen, a USB port and more reactive touch, swipe and zoom functionality. It also enables you to add in Volkswagen's optional App Connect system, which allows owners of Apple and Android smartphone handsets to use the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and MirrorLink systems that mean you can duplicate the functionality of your phone onto the dashboard infotainment display and access selected apps in car. One of these might be a navigation app, or you can specify Volkswagen's full Discover Media navigation module that adds in full European sat-nav functionality. As for other extra cost features, well, we'd want the more supportive comfort seats. Plus, there's the option of a heated windscreen and headlamp washers. Some buyers might want to pay more for a rear-view camera, perhaps in combination with various park assist systems that'll steer you into the tightest space. If your deliveries take you to places like building sites, then you might want to look at the optional underbody protection package too. Practical stuff includes the option of a rear roof flap, out of which you could poke longer items like pipes and ladders, and you might want a glazed or unglazed tailgate rather than the standard twin rear doors. Plus, you might also want to look at a rubber load floor cover, tailgate spotlights, roof rails, a tow bar, luggage nets in the passenger compartment roof, or a second sliding side door. There are also various different bulkhead designs. You could have an auxiliary heater or a roof ventilator in the load compartment, and you can even specify a dog transport box if you want it. Aesthetic touches include a range of alloy wheels of up to 17 inches in size and the option of various metallic or pearl effect paint colours. On to safety, an area where Volkswagen now claims class leadership with this vehicle. With all models, the standard driver's airbag is joined by a curtain airbag, which is still quite rare in this class. And across the range, the Volkswagen brand has installed a clever automatic post-collision braking system that automatically brakes the car down to 6 miles an hour after a collision. So if, say, someone hits you and understandably you go to pieces, then your Caddy will automatically sort itself out. On top of this, there are the usual electronic features to try and ensure that neither of these features will ever be needed. That means ESP stability control, TCS traction control system, and MSR engine drag torque control that stops the van from skidding if, for example, you change into too low a gear at speed on a slippery road. There's ABS braking, of course, and panic stops will be advertised to following motorists by automatically activating hazard warning lights. Hill hold assist stops you from drifting backwards on uphill junctions, and there's a tyre pressure warning system available for hardly any extra money. Going further requires a spending of more cash, but the options available are pretty groundbreaking for a small van. Take the ACC adaptive cruise control system that uses radar technology to automatically keep you a safe distance from the vehicle in front on the highway, and uses the same technology for a front assist system that at speed scans the road ahead as you drive for potential accident hazards and warns you of one if it's detected and automatically brakes you if necessary. You get that same kind of functionality at urban speeds as part of a city emergency braking system that's included as part of the front assist package. Want even more? Then you could also specify the light assist high beam assistant that will automatically dip your headlights at night in the face of oncoming traffic. And you might tick the box for the driver alert system that monitors your driving reactions to drowsiness. If lethargy is detected, then you'll be prompted to stop for that restorative coffee. Time to check out the practicality of this Caddy, and as usual, let's start at the business end. Though the lifting tailgate that you get on passenger carrying versions of this van is available as a glazed or unglazed option, the asymmetrically split rear doors that come as standard will suit most businesses. These open out to 90 degrees with the door latches engaged, or 180 degrees with the latches disengaged. As before, there's a relatively low loading height, the sill being 587mm from the ground on this standard version, or 594mm up if you choose the bigger Maxi model. The doors are fractionally bigger than before, 1,183mm in width and 1,134mm in height. So pretty much everything you want to go in should go in, including a standard Euro pallet. Inside, there's a completely level cargo floor with a load space width of 1,340mm, narrowing to 1,172mm between the wheel arches. There's no option to specify a higher roof height, so all Caddies get 1,259mm of vertical space. That means a load capacity of 3.2 cubic metres in this standard model. If you need more, then you'll need to be looking at the Caddy Maxi variant, which adds 470mm to the vehicle length and increases interior load length to 2,249mm and ups the load volume to 4.2 cubic metres. If you're likely to be sometimes carrying very long items, then Volkswagen offers the option of a rear roof flap so that pipes and ladders, for example, can be poked out the back. Size-wise then, most of what you want to carry will probably fit. But what about weight? Well, payloads are very similar to what they were before, ranging from 582 kilograms to 735 kilograms, with gross vehicle weight from 2,135 kilograms to 2,350 kilograms. To keep heavy items in place, there are 6 fold-away lashing eyes to tie things down, or 8 if you go for the Maxi model. Should you forget to use these and find everything sliding forward, then you'll be glad of the full-height bulkhead that features a solid lower section and a rigid, impact-resistant grille at the top. To protect the outer skin of the bodywork, the Caddy is equipped with internal panelling up to the window line, but as usual, there's no real substitute for a proper internal ply lining kit. Want to load things in from the side? Well, there's a standard sliding door on the left-hand side of the vehicle with another available for the other side as an option. This opening provides a loading width of 700 millimeters and a loading height of 1097 millimeters. A nice detailed touch is the way that these sliding doors run on a roller that's integrated into the roof spars, a feature that allows owners to pack out the load bay without having to leave space for the mechanism as it slides open. Very neat. All right, so it's practical, but how will running costs add up? Well, let's see. This time around, the previous 1.6-litre TDI diesel range has been upgraded to Euro 6 2-litre TDI status, with buyers offered a choice of 75, 102 or 150 PS outputs. All the units are impressively clean and frugal thanks to a range of what Volkswagen calls Blue Motion technology tweaks. These include things like brake energy recuperation and a start-stop system that cuts the engine when you don't need it, stuck in traffic or waiting at the lights. And like most modern diesels, these units get a particulate filter and inject a urea-based solution called AdBlue into the exhaust gas stream to help clean up the emissions. This solution is stored in an 8-litre tank beneath the bonnet and will need topping up between 3,700 and 6,200 miles, something that can be done as part of regular servicing. On to the figures. The 75 PS and 102 PS Euro 6 units manage 61.4 miles per gallon on the combined cycle and 120 grams per kilometre of CO2, while the top 150 PS version delivers 57.7 miles per gallon and 129 grams per kilometre. Those figures are for the standard version, but there's only a fractional difference if you order the bigger Maxi model. There's a DSG auto gearbox option with the two pokier units that'll hit your running cost returns by about 10%. If you happen to be looking at the Caddy model that we're trying here, the short wheelbase 102 PS variant, then your dealer will also offer you the option of a fully fledged Blue Motion Eco version. With that variant, there's a lowered chassis, aero-efficient wheel covers and more efficient engine management. As a result, that eco derivative is able to improve its running cost figures to 65.7 miles per gallon and 114 grams per kilometre of CO2. In concert with the 55-litre fuel tank, those returns would potentially enable a Caddy Blue Motion to cover up to 788 miles between fill-ups. On to the petrol models. The 1.2-litre TSI variant manages 50.4 miles per gallon on the combined cycle and 131 grams per kilometre of CO2. And despite its extra power, the more modern 1-litre TSI model improves that showing to 53.3 miles per gallon and 123 grams per kilometre of CO2. Go for the pokier 1.4-litre TSI variant and the figures are 47.1 miles per gallon and 137 grams per kilometre. With the 1-litre and 1.4-litre derivatives, the figures I've quoted are for the standard body style. They'll be fractionally worse with the larger Maxi model, but you can fractionally improve things if you go for the DSG auto gearbox as an option with these two pokier versions. What else? Well, a standard gear shift indicator is provided to help drivers get as close to the quoted returns as possible. As for service intervals, the efficient engine range enables Volkswagen's growing network of commercial dealers to offer what they call a long-life service regime. Here, built-in sensors monitor oil quality, enabling a smart chip to decide when it needs changing and flag up a service reminder on the dashboard. Depending on how the vehicle is driven, that could mean service intervals varying from a minimum of 9,000 miles a year up to as much as 18,000 miles or every 2 years, whichever is sooner. And warranties, well, a 3-year 100,000 mile package is standard, and there's 3 years of pan-European roadside assistance also included with no mileage restriction. The paintwork warranty lasts for 3 years and the Caddy is protected by a 12-year anti-corrosion body warranty. This Caddy's predecessor set the benchmark for compact van design at the turn of the century, just as this 4th generation model does today. If you want a snapshot of just how far small LCVs have come, then we suggest you check one of these out. Some interesting design choices have been made here, like Volkswagen's decision to keep much of the same styling and, more significantly, not to change this vehicle's size and fundamentally alter its potential payload and carriage capacity. The Volkswagen brand thinks instead that operator preferences will lie in areas like efficiency, safety and technology, priorities this fourth-generation Caddy addresses with class-leading thoroughness. That's not to say that it can't be a practical choice. The 3.2 cubic metre and 4.2 cubic metre carriage capacities of the standard and maxi versions are all that most operators will need, with the option of a rear roof flap available to help you deal with longer items should the need arise. It all means that if you specify your Caddy carefully, you could create a very complete little business tool indeed. And in summary, well, there are, it's true, bigger and more affordable vans than this one in the compact LCV sector. We reckon, though, that most business buyers in this segment, most of the time, would rather have a Caddy. And that really says it all.